I've played a lot of video games in my life. You see that I pretty much have built a fortress of solitude of video games in this room, and I've played great games, I've played exemplary games, I've played mediocre games, and I've played bad games. But some games are so bad that they just defy logic. They're just like, how did they make something so bad and so broken? Why does this even exist? So I decided to make my top 10 worst games of all time list. Now there's two things I want to note before we get into this list. First and foremost, E.T. for the 2600 is not on this list. I don't think it's a great game or a good game, but I think it's okay for what it is, and there are much worse games out there, including the 10 that we're going to go over. And second, this is just my personal opinion. So if you want to share your personal opinion, be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave it in the comments section down below. Or if you're feeling really adventurous, feel free to make a response video to this. Just make sure you tag me in the title, and I'll share it on my Twitter page and social media so that other people can check out your list. Now, without any further ado, let's get into my top 10 worst video games of all time list.
Coming in at number 10 is WrestleMania on the NES, and this game is just not a good game. When I think of a wrestling game, I think of things such as grapples, you know, suplexes, body slams, top rope elbow drops, and this game is devoid of any of that. You see Hulk Hogan sort of here doing a weird headbang and kicking the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. That's all you do in this game. This game plays a lot more like a beat-em-up game than a wrestling game, and that's a problem because have you ever heard of a one-on-one beat-em-up game? I know I haven't. There's these weird things that fly across the screen that will give you additional health, such as Hulk Hogan's cross and Macho Man's sunglasses, but if you look, you can see Macho Man still has his sunglasses on in the ring. It doesn't play at all like a wrestling game. It seems like Acclaim was just using the WWF license to get something out there quick and get stupid kids money, and I was one of those stupid kids because I had this game and I hated this game. It was a terrible game back then, it's still a terrible game now, but the worst part about it is when you beat the game, you get this image. That's not the Winged Eagle belt. What belt is this? I've never seen this belt before. Top to bottom, a terrible game and worthy of number 10 on my worst games list. Coming in at number 9 is Aquaman Battle for Atlantis on the Xbox and the GameCube. Now, usually when you see a comic book hero video game, something is going on with the character, whether they're getting a movie or a resurgence in their comic book series, but that wasn't the case with this game. It pretty much just came out of left field, and I don't really know many people who wanted an Aquaman game because Aquaman isn't really a super popular character in the comic book world, and the game that came out of Aquaman is just terrible. Look at this game. It's devoid of any character, any charm, any fun, and all you do is swim around in this vast, disgusting, boring area and occasionally get in a fight. Ooh, look, a shark. Ooh, let's punch this guy. I don't really understand this game. It's not a game for me, but top to bottom, another terrible game and worthy of number 9 on this list. Coming in at number 8 is Bomberman ActZero. Yes, what you are looking at is an actual Bomberman game. And no, I'm not on drugs, and you're not on drugs either. Well, maybe you're not on drugs, but this game just blows my mind. I don't understand it at all. You see, what happened was Konami bought Hudson Soft and got all of their IP. So you have games like Adventure Island, you have games like Star Soldier, and of course you have the staple Bomberman. And this is what they came up with Bomberman ActZero. Instead of just doing a standard traditional Bomberman game, you know, something fast, something fun, something frantic, they came up with this sort of edgy, angsty teenager video game with hard rockin' music and this stupid looking character, these boring ass levels, and just where's the color, where's the fun, where's the speed? Your guy moves so slow and it totally ruins the whole game. It doesn't feel like Bomberman, it doesn't look like Bomberman, and it's a shame that this was the first thing that Konami did with the Hudson Soft IPs, and then they really didn't do anything else afterwards. It took a while for us to get Super Bomberman R on the Nintendo Switch, which, you know, actually looks like a Bomberman game. This game was just terrible. Nobody liked it when it came out. Nobody still likes it now, and it's definitely worthy of a spot on this list because, I don't know, man, it's just so bad.
Your life. Get to the next
Coming in at number 7 is Time Killers on the Sega Genesis. Now, I never see this game on top 10 worst game lists, and I don't know why, because this game is atrocious. It's pretty much like they asked the 7th grader, hey, what do you like in a video game? You like skulls and dinosaur heads and lots of blood and limbs flying off? Great, that's what we're gonna put in this game. Yeah, Mortal Kombat was, popular at the time, but at least Mortal Kombat had a little bit of personality. Mortal Kombat had style. This has nothing. The characters are stock as hell. It's once again like they went to a middle school and said, hey, design us some characters for a video game. You want a big Nordic guy? Hey, that's cool, man. We want that too. Pirate ships and spaceships. You like that stuff? We do too, kids. Let's throw some violence in there. Let's throw some blood and some limbs that you can chop off. The gameplay is slow and monotonous. The character sprites are way too small for the screen. And I don't know why more people don't hate this game. Time Killers, number 7 on the list, a horrible, horrible fighting game. Coming in at number 6 is Castlevania 64, and I hate this game with every fiber of my being. I remember when I picked up Castlevania 64, I went to Target with my mother and I saw a brand new Castlevania game on the N64. I got a good report card and she let me pick it up. And I got home and I was so angry because this was not the Castlevania I knew from the NES. I never played the Castlevania games on the Super Nintendo as I owned a Genesis, but this was not Castlevania to me. This was something strange. This was something weird. And I understand that Super Mario 64 pretty much revolutionized 3D games, and a lot of people try to jump on that bandwagon, including Konami, but Castlevania was not the franchise to do it with. And what's really weird is you've had awesome Castlevania games like Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation 1, and this is what we got in the N64, but Konami decided this was the future of the series because every home console Castlevania 64 game has been a 3D game since then. We haven't had the 2D games anymore. This game is terrible, the controls are terrible, the graphics are ugly, and nothing about the game is good. There's really no redeeming qualities or factors in this game, so just avoid it at all costs. Pac-Man? How do you screw up Pac-Man? Well, Atari managed to do it. Now, rumor has it that this game was actually not completed, and for some reason, Atari just rushed it to get it out, because I guess Pac-Man, it was a big deal at the time. It was one of the greatest arcade games ever. So many people spent so many coins on Pac-Man, but this version is just terrible. The ghosts have like a strobe effect going on all the time. There's no music, the sound effects are terrible. Pac-Man himself looks like an idiot, and it's a shame because homebrew people have since made more competent Pac-Man games on the Atari 2600 on the same original hardware. There's cartridges out there. It's just a shame that this game was just so rushed because it makes it one of the worst games of all time. It's a bore to look at, it's a chore to play, and just not a great game. You must avoid it. Yes, it's worse than E.T. Pac-Man 2600, ugh. Coming in at number 4 is Bubsy 3D on the PlayStation 1. I don't understand this game. I don't understand what we were doing with this game. Bubsy was kind of popular, I guess, on the Super Nintendo and maybe the Atari Jaguar, but for some reason we got this game. And yes, Super Mario 64 once again sort of showed characters that they could go from 2D to 3D, but Bubsy was not one of those characters. First and foremost, the stupid thing never shuts up. He just keeps talking, and he's not funny. There's nothing funny about what you are saying, Bubsy. You are terrible. You are not a good character. That's why you don't exist anymore. The game has the most basic polygons ever, and the controls, oh my god, the controls are so bad in this game. Quite possibly the worst controls in a video game ever. Bubsy 3D was terrible then, is terrible now, and definitely deserves to be one of the worst games of all time because it just sucks, man. It just sucks. Coming in at number 3, we have Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon on the CDI. Yes, we have terrible cartoons. Yes, we have terrible actual gameplay. this is the game. What is going on here? Why is it two-dimensional? I understand Zelda 2 was two-dimensional, but Zelda 2 was a fun game. What is this terrible music? This isn't very Hyrule-ish. This has nothing to do with anything in the Hyrule Kingdom, and you're playing as Zelda, and that's probably the only cool thing about this game. But why is she constantly doing a crab walk? Because that's how you have to get down. You can't just jump down from plateaus and platforms. You have to do all this weird walking and stuff. It's just such a strange game. I don't understand why Nintendo thought this was a good fit for the CDI, but the game is just, it's just terrible. It's devoid of any character. It's devoid of anything that makes a Zelda game special, and definitely one of the worst games of all time and deserving of a spot on my list. Coming in at number 2, yes, number 2, is Superman 64 for the Nintendo 64. I remember my stupid local Blockbuster had this game out for like 2 weeks at a time. I could never rent it, and I was so angry. I wanted to play it so bad, because why would it be out for 2 weeks in a row? Who keeps renting it? Is it that good? And then I finally rented it, and this is what I got. Superman's doing like some sort of pectoral muscle sort of thing as he's flying through the air, and the game is just so bad. I don't understand why we're flying through rings. This is not fun. This is not Superman. There's so much more to it. Oh, look, I've got 6 seconds to save people. Why is there no textures on the ground? What is the ground even doing? Like, what is the gray stuff on the ground? This game makes no sense. There's no sense of depth perception. There's no sense of height and whatnot. Is Superman a giant? Why is he so much bigger than all these cars? Clark Kent? Are you a Neanderthal? Are you Andre the Giant in disguise? I don't understand this game. This game is absolutely terrible and definitely deserving of a spot on the list. And coming in at number 1 is Virtual Hydride on the Sega Saturn. Why this game is not on everyone's top 10 worst games of all time list blows my mind. I remember renting this game from a local game store when I was probably 12 or 13, and I put it into my Saturn, and it was so bad, my mom wouldn't even take me back to the store. Me and my friend walked 1.5 miles to bring this back because I refused to keep it. What is going on in this game? Why does everything look so terrible? Why does this guy walk like an asshole? Why are these trees so ugly? Why is there such terrible draw distance? Why is everything so slow? Why is the music so bad? Why is this game so boring? What is going on here? Look at this map. I just hate everything about this game. This game just makes my skin crawl, and it blows my mind that not many people hate this game because you never see it on top 10 worst games of all time list. Well, I'm here to make a stand. Virtual Hydride is the worst game. Superman 64, E.T., Pac-Man 2600, these games are nothing compared to this game. At least those games you can have a little semblance of fun. This game, no. All you do is die, you fight trees that try to bite you, and it's terrible. The worst game of all time, Virtual Hydride on the Sega Saturn.
And folks, those are the bottom of the barrel. This is the crap of the crap. This is the stuff you wouldn't even scrape this crap off your shoe. You would just throw the shoe away because it's disgusting and it's terrible. These are the worst games of all time. Let me know what you think of my list in the comments section down below if you agree or disagree. Once again, let me know your list in the comments section down below, or if you want to make a video response, feel free to tag me in the title of it and I will do my best to share it on my social media pages so that other people can see your response. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, check out other videos, and if you really like my face, check out my Patreon page. I'll catch you guys next time. Later.